Ding! Typical, isn't it? Just about to start recording, and then the phone goes. Blah, blah, blah. Not important. Hello, how are you? And welcome to How to Break a Sony TV, courtesy of Cornwall Television. This is one of Sony's very early LED TVs. I mean, it's 10 years old. You can tell. How can you tell that a TV is 10 years old? Well, you can either do some research or be lazy like me and just have a look at the bezel. And you can see along the bezels here. They're thick, man. A modern-day bezel is only a few millimeters, where this one, blimey, I would say that's 1 inch and 3/4, well, 1.5 inches maybe. But it is an LED TV. A lot of people would think that this Sony Bravia is an older LCD model. It's quite a nice TV, actually. Quite stylish, very good. But yes, old. And it's edge-lit. I'm always 50-50 with Sony products. I find them quite stylish. They do look nice. But when they go wrong, they are not the easiest to diagnose. Which is why I'm doing this video in a way, because somebody was talking to me and they said, why don't you do a video for a 7-blink Sony? Well, it's not like I'm not a request show. But anyway, I've just switched it on. Standby light is on. But in a moment, it will automatically just say, I'm blinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it will keep doing that. It will never come on. Well, I wouldn't say never come on. It's got an issue. Oh. Just let me press something on my computer, which may stop certain things from crashing later. Right. So 7 blinks. If you look at the Sony chart, if you're ever bothered to look at the Sony chart of their codes, which is completely different to Samsung and completely different to Panasonic, this comes under the category of 7 blinks overheating, temperature, which makes you want to go around all the boards on the back and touch things and see what the problem is. But I'm not going to go through a special diagnosis because we've already found out what the issue is. And 9 times out of 10, if you've got a Sony with a 7 blink code, it's not really connected to anything overheating. So I don't know why they put temperature. I suppose it's being caused by a short, so there could be one capacitor, even though we've searched for it and we can't find it. Well, we've pinpointed where the problem is. Whether it can be fixed or not, I don't know. So what I'll do is we'll turn the TV over. And in typical Blue Peter style, I've already taken the screws out the back. Here's one I made earlier. So let me take the back off this. How easy was that? Let me tell you, it wasn't that easy. TVs of this age, as I say, about 10 years, they had this philosophy 10 years ago. Why put 4 screws in when we can put 400? And so they did. Right. So obviously, power board, main board, T-con, speakers, buttons. And it's down to, I haven't got my mobile camera, so with my finger, we're not looking there for 7 blinks on a Sony. We're not looking there for 7 blinks on a Sony. We're not looking there. We're not even looking at the backlights. And I did say this is an LED TV, and it is an LED. It's edge-lit. Amazing that at 10 years, the lights are still working. They obviously had higher quality LED lamps in those days. compared to today when you tend to get between 3 and 5 years, if you're lucky. Anyway, the overheating bit is down here. It's your IR sensor, your infrared. So, what I'm just going to do is unplug it. I'm just unplugging the infrared sensor. I'm not... There it is. I'm waving it, look. Sorry I can't zoom in on it. I will get my zoom camera up and running one day. It's just that the batteries are dead on it and I can't be bothered to charge it because I don't know where the charger is and I can't be bothered to find the charger. Anyway. So I've unplugged, just unplugged the sensor. Don't unplug the sensor from the main board because the feed for the sensor also goes to the switches. And I think it goes somewhere else as well. I can't remember. It doesn't go to the LED light. No, it may just be the switches. So if you unplug that, you'll never get your TV on because your switches down the side work. Because bear in mind now, you've unplugged your infrared sensor. So your remote control will not work. It won't, it won't, it won't. So if I plug this in now, I'm wondering if I can just lift it up. Will the camera pick it up? Do I have to turn it upside down? Camera will not pick it up. So I will turn it upside down. Don't panic. I'll make sure you get a good view. But the TV should now come on and behave itself. So let's switch it on. I'll just turn the master lights off. Master lights. Hock at me. Makes it sound like I live in a mansion. And the master lights are now off. So I switched the TV on. Obviously we're not going to get any LED lights on the bottom here. Quite simply because we've disconnected the IR sensor. Now I was expecting the TV to come on by itself. But it hasn't. So maybe now I do have to switch it on by the button. And I did. Right, there you go. So that is it. Or is it? Is it the IR sensor itself? Or is it a short on the main board that we've just bypassed by unplugging the IR sensor? These are the questions we need answering, and I can answer them today. So I'm going to switch it off, because I've got an IR sensor. You haven't. I have. Well, you are just a star. Thank you. I do talk to myself an awful lot. We all talk to ourselves an awful lot, do we? Yes, we do. It's when you start answering yourself back that you should start to worry. That's true. I know. Right. So, somewhere over the rainbow, here we go, is a replacement. I better switch some lights on, Governor. I'll show you there and there. That is a replacement IR sensor. So that's the good one. I'm putting the good one there. Remind me, I've put the good one there. Now to take the bad one out, there's probably going to be... I don't have to take too many screws. Oh, is it just that one? Wouldn't it be great if it's just the speaker bit that has to come out? Yes, it would be great, but it's not. So sorry, hang on. Bear with. Just going to take the whole grill off. It's only 4 screws, don't panic. As I say, not 100% sure that I've got the fix here. You would have thought 7 blinks. Would have been more a main boardish error. So I've got the IR sensor here. It's there. Don't know if you still can't see on this camera. I'm just going to move this camera up a bit. So IR sensor here, and I think it just clips out. Look at that. It just clips out. Broken one there. Non-broken one clipping back in here. I'll say non-broken one. Obviously this is not a brand new part, I've just put that in upside down. Why do they design it so it goes in upside down? That's annoying. It wasn't upside down, it was the right way around. This is different. Right, hang on a minute. Damn, it's different. How different, I don't know. Look, that's the one that should be working. And you can see the plug is there. Now, I double-checked this. I mean, that's identical, really, apart from where they've moved the plug, so I may still stand a chance. But I did double-check this with the people I bought this from on eBay to check the plug was in the right place. So they've obviously got quite a few of these, and they've sent me one. Maybe it's just a revised edition. Maybe all I have to do is move the cable and plug it in. Maybe. There's a lot of maybes. Well, look, the main thing is the cable goes in and it still matches up. So I'm just going to screw this back down. But the issue is now, if I get 7 blinks, I won't know if it's because the replacement is broken or if it's because the replacement is different. Let me put one screw in here so I can turn it the other way around. So as I said, I've got no idea now if this is going to work or not, because I don't know. It still could be a mainboard fault. That mainboard feeds the IR sensor, obviously. Obviously, didn't you know that? But I'm rather hoping that I can't believe that IR sensor is different. Let's see what happens. IR sensor is here. I'm just going to turn that light off. So you can probably see it blink a bit better. So we're in the dark. Is it going to blink or is it going to come on? Well, it's gone green first of all. Is it going to stay green? Is it going to power the TV on? Yes! Now I need to double check, does that IR sensor work okay, even though it's slightly different? And to do that, I need a Sony remote. And in true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I made earlier. This is not the original remote for this, but it will do volume and stuff. And yes, the volume is working. I don't know if you can see volume going up and down. No, because we're terribly unfocused here. Right. So what I'll do, I'll put a picture on this. I've got a HDMI here. I'll just feed into HDMI 1. Try not to break everything in the meantime. Right, HDMI 1, does it say on the board? No, it doesn't. So I've got a HDMI in. I don't know whether I've got HDMI 1 in. We are soon going to see. Right, it says HDMI 1. Am I going to get a picture or do I have to swap that over? It looks like I'm going to have to swap that over, because it's not giving me an image. Oh, unless I've... That should be the right one. I've got different HDMIs here. Now have we got an image? No. Yes, we have, sorry. You can see it there. Right. I'll just go to YouTube. It's not offensive, is it going to YouTube? I'll turn the volume down, just to test the IR sensor. There it is, all working. Picture quality is okay. Well, picture quality is very good. But of course, large bezels on these, as you can see, around. So that was interesting, learned a little bit today. I'll just switch the main lights on. This is the offending article. It's got some resistors and it's got some capacitors on it. Now, I would have thought that capacitor had gone short, but it hadn't. Everything seems okay. But there is a fault on here somewhere, but I've read everything you possibly can with a multimeter, and it's not coming up. This is the HLR board. One thing I haven't done, and this is not majorly important, but just for reference, you may want to know the model number of the TV. Well, it's not on here. It's obviously on the other black plastic bit at the back. So I'll just, I better switch that off because it's playing music. I'll turn it over because I've got to put it all back together. I shall probably just use this TV as a workshop TV. Well, I say that, I've got lots of workshop TVs. Let's give you the model number. But do bear in mind that the blink code for Sony's works with most of the models. Panasonic did change theirs for later models. This is the Sony KDL40, so a 40-inch EX703. So 40EX703, if that helps you. Sony model number KDL40EX703. So it had 7 blinks. We tied it down to the infrared board. It's called the HLR board, isn't it? Yeah. The HLR board. Replaced it. We replaced it with one which is exactly the same in diameter and design, but it did have the plug, or the socket, in a different place. This is mounted on the far right-hand side normally, the other one's in the middle. But it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And it's come on. So just thought we'd do a quick video just to let you know the 11 blinks. 11 blinks. Get a life. The 7 blink code for a Sony. First place to start is going to be the IR sensor. I can't say it's going to be the problem with all Sonys. But talking to certain engineers who have dealt with these in the past, it does seem to be the majority of the cases, it is the HLR board, the IR sensor board, which is good because it's not a terribly expensive repair.